The rain hit the tin roof like 1,000 fists, loud, relentless, and angry. In the small apartment at the end of the alley, Noah wrapped his thin sweater tighter around his shoulders. The electricity had been cut off 2 hours ago, and the only light came from a candle flickering on the table. He counted the coins again. $8 and some change. Not enough for rent. Not enough for food. Not enough for the medicine his younger sister needed. He swallowed hard and forced himself not to cry. Omegas didn't survive by crying. They survived by enduring. The knock on the door came suddenly. 3 heavy knocks. Noah froze. It was nearly midnight. No one came here this late unless they were drunk or dangerous. Another knock. Then a deep voice. Please, open the door. My son is sick. Noah's heart twisted. He didn't want to open it. Every instinct screamed at him to stay silent. But he had once studied to be a nurse. He had sworn an oath to help the sick. He walked slowly to the door and opened it. A tall man stood in the rain, soaked to the bone. His dark hair clung to his face. His suit was expensive, but torn and stained with mud. In his arms was a small boy trembling violently. He's burning up, the man said. Please. Noah stepped aside immediately. Come in. The apartment was small and cold, but Noah rushed to the couch and laid the boy down. What's his name? He asked. Ethan. Noah pressed his hand against the boy's forehead. He flinched. His fever is too high. He moved quickly, grabbing a bowl of cool water and a cloth. You, Noah said to the man. Hold the candle. The man obeyed without question. For the next hour, Noah worked like he was back in the hospital, cooling the boy's body, giving him the last of his medicine, whispering soft, soothing words. The boy finally relaxed, breathing evenly. He'll be okay, Noah said quietly. The man didn't answer. He was staring at Noah like he had just seen something impossible. You're an Omega, he said. Noah stiffened. Yes. You're not afraid of me? Noah shook his head. You're just a father worried about his child. The man's expression softened for the first time. I'm Victor. Noah. At that moment, Noah's stomach growled loudly. Victor looked around the room. The empty shelves. The cold heater. The eviction notice on the wall. You haven't eaten. I'm fine, no alid. Victor walked into the kitchen. He opened the cabinet. 1 can of soup. He cooked it without a word and handed it to Noah. Eat. Noah hesitated, then accepted. It was the warmest thing he'd tasted in days. Why help us? Victor asked. Noah looked at the sleeping boy. He's just a child. None of this is his fault. Victor stared at him for a long time. You're a strange Omega, he murmured. Morning came with the sound of engines. Noah opened his eyes to see 3 black SUVs outside the building. Men in suits stood near them, scanning the area. Victor was already dressed. My people found us, he said. Noah suddenly felt small, like the night before had just been a dream. Victor handed him a thick envelope. For your help. Noah opened it. $2,000. His hands trembled. Wait, Victor said. Come with us. Noah blinked. What? My son trusts you, Victor said. And he trusts no one. He looked around the tiny apartment. You have nothing here. I have a life, Noah whispered. Do you? Victor said quietly. Silence. I'll pay you $10,000 a month, Victor said. Live-in caregiver. Protection. Medical care for your sister. Everything. Noah's heart pounded. 10,000. That was more money than he had ever seen. He looked at the boy, at Ethan's small, peaceful face, and then at Victor. Okay, he whispered. I'll go. Part 2, The Golden Cage. Victor's mansion looked more like a fortress than a home. High walls, armed guards, cameras everywhere. Noah felt like he had stepped into another world. Or a trap. For the first week, he barely saw Victor. The alpha left early and came back late, always smelling like smoke, steel, and danger. But Ethan clung to Noah. Slowly, the boy began to speak again, to laugh, to live. And every evening, Victor started coming home earlier. They began to eat together. At first, the dinners were silent. Then came small conversations. "You cook better than the chef," Victor said one night. "That's because you actually eat my food," Noah replied. Victor smirked. "You're not afraid of me at all, are you?" "I'm afraid of the world you live in," Noah said softly. "But not of you." Victor stared at him like those words meant everything. One stormy night, Noah found Victor sitting alone on the stairs, shaking. His back was covered in scars. "Victor," Noah whispered. The alpha looked up, eyes wild. "Isabella," he murmured. "No," Noah said gently. "It's Noah." Victor pressed his hands to his face. "The storm, the accident, I couldn't save her." Noah sat beside him. "You saved your son," he said softly. Victor went still. Noah placed a hand on his arm. "Breathe with me." Slowly, the trembling stopped. Victor leaned into the touch. "You smell like peace," he murmured. Noah's heart pounded, but he didn't pull away. Part 3: The Attack and the Promise. A month later, they went to the aquarium. It was supposed to be a simple trip, Ethan's first outing in years. But the fire alarm went off. People started running. A man in a staff uniform grabbed Noah's arm. "This way. Emergency exit." Something felt wrong. Noah looked down. A scorpion tattoo on the man's wrist.
Danger.
He stomped on the man's foot and ran with Ethan. But 3 men blocked the path. They grabbed Noah, punched him, forced him to the ground. "Get the kid." Noah crawled forward, shielding Ethan. Then, a gunshot echoed. Victor stood at the entrance, eyes empty, guns in both hands. "Step away from my family," he said. The men panicked. Victor moved like death itself. 2 shots. 2 bodies fell. The 3rd man aimed at Ethan. Noah threw himself forward. Pain tore across his arm. Victor roared. Seconds later, the attackers were down. Victor dropped to his knees beside them, pulling Noah and Ethan into his arms. "I'm here," he whispered. "I've got you." Later that night, in the hospital room, Victor stood by the window. "You're free," he said quietly. "When you heal, I'll send you anywhere. You'll be safe." Noah grabbed his tie and pulled him close. "You idiot," he whispered. "I fought for him because he's my family." Victor stared at him. "And you," Noah said softly. "You're my family too." Silence filled the room. "I love you," Noah said. Victor's eyes widened. "You love me, knowing what I am?" "You're the man who ran through bullets to reach us," Noah said. Victor leaned down. Their kiss was soft, careful, full of relief. "I won't send you away," Victor whispered. "But things will change. I promise." Noah smiled faintly. "Then I'll stay." And for the first time since the stormy night, Victor felt something unfamiliar in his chest. Not fear, not rage, hope. Part 4: The War Behind the Gates. The Mendez estate was quieter than usual. Too quiet. Noah noticed it the moment they returned from the hospital. The guards stood straighter. The staff spoke in hushed tones. Even the air inside the mansion felt heavier, like a storm waiting to break. Victor hadn't left Noah's side since the attack. He stayed in the private clinic room for 3 days, sleeping in the chair beside the bed. He took calls in whispers, his voice low and dangerous. Every time Noah woke up, Victor was there, watching, protecting. But the warmth in his eyes was always shadowed by something darker: fear. On the 4th night, Noah finally returned to the estate. His arm was still bandaged. His ribs ached with every breath. But he refused to stay in the clinic any longer. Ethan ran into his arms the moment he stepped through the front doors. "Noah!" the boy cried, voice small but clear. Noah knelt carefully, ignoring the pain, and hugged him. "I missed you too, little lion." Victor watched the scene from the stairs. His expression softened, but the tension never left his shoulders. Later that evening, after Ethan had fallen asleep, Victor called Noah into his office. The room was dark, lit only by a desk lamp. Papers and maps were spread across the table. "This is because of me," Victor said quietly. Noah frowned. What is? The attack. The war. All of it. He tapped a finger against the map. 2 families are moving against us. They think the attack on you makes me weak. Noah's stomach dropped. Weak. Victor's eyes were cold. In my world, if someone hurts what you love and you don't destroy them, they assume you've lost your teeth. Noah stepped closer. And have you? Victor didn't answer. The silence was enough. The next morning, the estate changed. More guards, more cars, more weapons. It felt less like a home and more like a military base. Noah sat with Ethan in the garden, trying to pretend everything was normal. But he could feel it. The tension, the danger. Papa angry? Ethan whispered. Noah hesitated. No. Papa is worried. Ethan looked down at the grass. I don't like when he smells like storm. Noah's heart twisted. He knew exactly what the boy meant. Victor's scent changed when he was stressed. It grew sharp, electric, like thunder before lightning. I'll talk to him, Noah said softly. That night, Noah found Victor in the gym. He was punching a heavy bag with brutal force. Sweat ran down his chest. His knuckles were already bleeding. Victor, Noah called. The alpha didn't stop. Victor. Still nothing. Noah walked closer and grabbed his wrist. Enough. Victor froze. The moment their skin touched, the tension in the air shifted. Victor looked down at him, breathing hard. They hurt you, he said. They touched what was mine. I'm not a possession, Noah replied calmly. Victor's jaw tightened. You're everything, he said quietly. That's worse. Noah stepped closer. If you start a war, more people will get hurt. More children like Ethan. Victor's eyes darkened. You think I don't know that? Then don't become the monster they expect. Silence filled the room. Victor's shoulders sagged. I don't know how to be anything else. Noah reached up and gently touched the scar on his collarbone. Then learn, he whispered. For him. For me. Victor closed his eyes. And for the first time in days, his sense softened. 3 days later, the call came. Matthias entered the dining room, face grim. They've taken one of our trucks. Queen's route. Victor stood slowly. Casualties? 1 driver injured. Shipment gone. Noah's chest tightened. Victor looked at him. I'll handle this. Handle it how? Noah asked. Victor didn't answer. He simply walked out of the room. That night, the house felt colder than ever. Noah couldn't sleep. He walked down the hallway and heard voices from Victor's office. We strike tonight, Matthias was saying. They hit us twice. We end it. Noah's heart raced. Strike tonight. End it. That meant blood. He pushed the door open. Victor and Matthias both turned. Noah, Victor said. You shouldn't be here. You promised, Noah said quietly. No more darkness. Victor's expression hardened. This is different. It's always different, Noah replied. That's how it starts. Matthias looked between them. I'll wait outside, he muttered, leaving the room. Silence fell. Victor stepped closer. You don't understand this world. Then explain it to me. Victor's eyes burned. If I don't act, they'll come back. Next time, they won't miss. Noah swallowed. And if you do act, how many fathers won't come home tonight? The words hit harder than any punch. Victor staggered back a step. I can't lose you, he said hoarsely. Then don't become someone I can't stay with. The room went silent. Victor stared at him like he was standing on the edge of a cliff. What would you have me do? He asked. Noah took a deep breath. End it. But without becoming them. Victor frowned. That's not how this world works. Then change the rules. An hour later, Victor stood in the main hall with Matthias and the guards. We're not hitting their compound, Victor said. Matthias blinked. Boss, we're cutting their money, freezing accounts, blocking routes, taking their partners. Matthias looked stunned. That will cripple them. That's the point. And if they retaliate? Victor's eyes turned cold. Then we defend. But we don't start the bloodshed. Matthias studied him, then slowly nodded. Understood. Later that night, Victor returned to the bedroom. Noah was sitting on the bed, reading. Victor stood in the doorway. "It's done," he said quietly. Noah looked up. "What is?" "The war will end differently this time." Noah closed the book. "Come here." Victor walked over. Noah pulled him down gently. Their foreheads touched. "You chose us," Noah whispered. Victor's arms wrapped around him. "I always will." Outside the mansion walls, the city moved as it always did, loud, dangerous, unpredictable. But inside the room, for that one quiet moment, there was only warmth. Only the scent of vanilla and rain, and the fragile promise of a future neither of them had ever believed they deserved.